What's up, everyone? I'm back again with the good old big fat pig here, KLR 650. I did some work on the rear license plate holder here. I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, they come with that big gargantuan thing sticking down about here. Now, I'm going to show you what I've done so far here. Okay, of course, this is what's on there from the factory. You have this large piece. Now, the first thing I did was, you have this license plate holder. When you look on the back of it, up underneath, you have two bolts through here, but you also have this inner fender liner right here, which this is cut. This is longer. Okay, this is all one piece right here. This is the inner fender liner. This goes up underneath in here. So you have this up in here like that. First thing you want to do is you want to take these two 10 millimeters out, then you got Phillips head, Phillips head. Take those all out. Then you can, once you take these out, your license plate bracket here, this license plate bracket will then come off of this piece. So then you have that off. Then what I did then, you don't need to make this cut here. Pretend that never happened. I was doing that because I didn't do anything with this yet. So what I proceeded to do then, this piece is up underneath the fender. If I can show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see or not. It's up in there. Now what I did is I took a cutoff wheel, could use a Dremel, and I went right across there and dropped that piece off. Right there's what I used. Cutoff wheel for the air compressor. Right there. Then, once you have that off, of course, you have this long dangly piece here, and you're going to have this piece on the side like this. So the first thing I did, you could cut it all at once. The first thing I did was I had this on here. I took the cutoff wheel, cut that off, and then I cut it down on the angle here and dropped this piece off. I took that piece off, threw it on the ground like that. Then what I did is I marked this with some tape, the area that I wanted to cut. I just took that cutoff wheel, I took it across here, down here, and then I cut across the back, but I cut underneath just a little bit. I left a little bit of this angle piece underneath here. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. But I left that in there. Okay, so I'll kind of show you. Then what I did, I took some 80 grit sandpaper because this is going to melt if you cut it the way I did. So I took some 80 grit sandpaper along the edge, up on the side a little bit. It gets those burrs off. Then I took some 180 grit, and I actually still need to get some spots with that. Take that over it. My cut is not perfect. I mean, I could actually even clean some up here. I have a little hump there. Now you do have these little humps here that the inner fender screws to. You can see them sticking down. I may cut those off, but I'll probably just let them there. I mean, you don't see them a whole lot. So anyhow, do your 180 grit, do that the whole way around. Clean up any of your loose edges off. Of course, now what you have to watch is when you're cutting, you see this wire, if you can see it, this wire right here for your license plate light. Be careful, because when you cut, what I did is I pulled the inner fender down and I held this up as I was cutting, and be very gentle, because if you go through too far, you're going to cut your freaking wire there. Now, some guys are going to be worried about this wire like dangling here. That don't bother me much because my other Dole Sports have kind of wires like that, you know, going around. I mean, if it bothers you, you could probably glue that up in there with something, or even put a real nice, you know, a real nice screw down through here. Then you could actually, you know, zip tie it to the screw, put like a nice black screw or a nice stainless screw through here. And once it was down through, you could maybe drill a hole through it, or tape or zip tie, you know, that wire to it if it bothers you. So what I'm going to do now is, see, I'm going to use this existing license plate section here. So I'm going to put the camera on the stand here and go ahead and mount this up and get my license plate on and kind of show you how it looks. Now when you take this off, this will be bolted here and here. Take that nut and bolt loose off of there. Now you may live, in Pennsylvania, I've had no inspection mechanic like worry about these being on the bike, so that's something you have to worry about if you're in a state where you think they're gonna crack down on you for not having those on. Take this, pitch it. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this existing piece, and there's already 2 holes here, but you gotta drill them out. They're tiny for the little screws that were in them. I drilled them out to 1/4 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and use existing bolts here that were on this and go ahead and bolt this on. I just got to go find them. So hang loose. Got one. Oh, I forgot to mention, after you take the inner fender off, this reflector is actually bolted on right here. You will need an 8mm. Take this nut off to pull that off of there. Okay, I'm looking for one more of these. When you take it apart, you should have 2 of these. Ah, there it is, look at that. Boom. Now, there are already nuts welded on to the back of this license plate thing. So, I would even prefer if this was tilted out more, which I could make a separate bracket and do that, but I'm just going to put my screw 10mm in there, see if I can start it from here. The other one in. Now I'm feeling like there's some type of molded in brace back behind there in the plastic, so I may have a little bit of a tough time tightening these up. Probably gonna have to use a little open end wrench. Might be able to get a socket in there. The socket went on. So we'll tighten these up. Okay, now I just need to find some nuts and bolts to put the license plate on. See, I would prefer this be angled like that, so I may cut this and bend it out a little bit and weld it, or just make a new little bracket and bend these out some more. But for right now, I'm going to put it on like that. but I would definitely prefer it out a little bit like that. Need some nuts and bolts. Be back in a minute, I promise. Sorry for the delay. Didn't think it'd take me so long to find some nuts and bolts. Now this is what I removed from the inner fender when I was unbolting everything. You got these Phillips with the washer, and there's actually two of these 10 millimeters with a washer. I better actually get some lock nuts. Lock washer. Putting a couple spring type lock washers on. Tighten this up. And you can see, I mean, this thing is it's still very sturdy, but you have a lot less dangling down here. And like I said, it's going to be much better when I get this plate angled out like that. But for now, we'll be okay. Still got some little fuzzies in there I need to sand off. All right, let's check it. There you go. Close up, far away. Don't pay attention to my license plate. You can see what it looks like from the back. There's the other side. Some of you guys might be into it, some of you might not be, but definitely we'll get that plate slid out there. But still, you still got your factory plate light and everything like that, so pretty cool. Remember, like, subscribe, get on your big fat pig, and take it for a ride. See ya.